All right, let's talk about inheritance. So inheritance is the idea that all classes and all objects are coming from some parent class, right? So to show you this, kind of how we can see it here right now, is type in here on any of these objects we've created, hit dot, and when you hit dot, you see all the properties that are available to us in that object. Now, if you look all the way to the right, of course, these are variables, and the blue are variables, and the green are methods. If you look to the right, you see the class that it's coming from. So here's bank account class, and then you see object, and there's a couple other object ones. So there's about like 8 or 9 methods in the object class that we see, but we didn't write the object class, but they are inherited because our object bank account automatically inherited those attributes from the object class. So for example, if we print acc1 dot, let's for example do the let's do the .2 string. So where is that one here? acc1 dot toString. Okay, so toString, we didn't write this method in our bank account class, right? There's no toString method. So if we run this app, then we see this kind of funky output right here. So that's what the toString method is, and that's kind of like a hash code that Java generates. Now we might want to use the toString for our purposes, so we can actually override the toString method. So inheritance, we have overriding. Let's say, for example, we want to do void toString, and actually it's not void, I believe it's string, so it returns a string. And then we want to return, let's say we want to return something that says the name, and let's return the let's see, account number, and let's return the balance. Let's say balance. And we can close it up there. Okay, let me make sure I have everything concatenated correctly. There we go. Okay, so this toString, we need to actually make it public because the other one was public, so because we're overriding. So we want to use what's called an annotation. We're going to say override, right? So by having this annotation, when we call now the toString method, now we're going to call this method that's in our bank account class, not the toString method that's in the object class, which is one step above the bank account class. So let's do this. Let's actually set some of these names, though. We need to do name equal to, say, Roger, Hugh, and then we need to set the balance equal to, say, 10,000. Okay, so now when we call name account balance, we call the toString method. Now it's going to print it'll print like an info sheet, right? It'll print like an info thing. So I'm going to talk about inheritance in a little bit of a practical way. So hopefully you get the idea that there's an object class that is above the parent class bank account. Now to give a how would you let's do this. Let's create another class, and I'm going to call this a we'll call this a CD account. Okay, this will be finished. That's fine. Okay, now just to kind of again demo this, if I wanted to now inherit the object class, then I would say extends bank account. Okay, so every class automatically extends the object class, or every class extends every object extends the object class. Now we have a subclass CD account, and CD account. In fact, I'm just going to add one method here. So I'm going to say something like string interest rate, and then I'll say void compound, and I'll say just this out, compounding interest. Okay, so kind of on a side, right? So I'm going to just come down here, demo for inheritance. I can create a new CD account called CD1 equals new CD account. Okay, and then I can say CD1 dot. Now we have everything that's available to us in object, bank account, and now CD account. So I can say CD1 dot balance equals 3,000. CD1 dot name equals Juan. CD1 dot account type we'll say this is a CD account, right? And then we can do CD1 dot toString, and this will then inherit the we want to print this out. This will inherit the bank account overridden toString method. So there we go. So first of all, notice also the constructors were also inherited. So we could say here, let me take out this line. I'm going to say CD account, and and this one will not work because the alternate constructors did not get inherited. So we can talk about that later, but notice it did call the default constructor right there. So then we need to initialize the account type equal to CD account. Okay, so there we go. So there we saw about inheritance, how we can have a class extend a class, right? This is inheriting a class, and then we can access the of course, it didn't actually demo the unique parts, right? So we can do CD1 dot compound, and then of course the rate we can set that equal as well. CD1 dot interest rate is equal to, say, 4.5. That should be a double. And so we see that those are unique elements to the child classes, but if we come up to the parent class, of course, because it doesn't work the other way around, we do not have access to the compound method or the interest rate variable. So that's another important concept with object-oriented programming. We've talked about abstraction, we've talked about inheritance. You're maybe seeing a little bit how we're going to get close to encapsulation and then polymorphism. So we're kind of plugging away here with our object-oriented programming practice and ideas. So we'll continue building this bank account app and enhancing our understanding of object-oriented programming.